Hello, and welcome back to City Skylines. My name's Sparky, and we are back here in the city of Baltimoray in the west coast of Scotland. In the last episode we tackled a lot of our traffic issues that we were having, and we seemed to have a bit of success. We got our traffic sorted from 60% back up to 85%. And in between episodes, well, it was going to be this episode, but the recording didn't work about this. Yeah, I rebuilt this whole intersection, and to be honest, I'm not even that happy with it, to be honest. It's okay, but there's something I can't quite put my finger on I don't like about it. But for now it works, and our traffic is back up to, it was up to 87-88%. So I don't think I'm going to do anything with it for the time being in terms of replacing it or anything, but I think it turned out okay. I mean, I did want to bring a road, under the motorway / railway to connect to our business park or office park and connect up to this side here, so it's like a, that's for another connection. But I don't know, as I said, there's something I'm not quite sure of what I like about it, but for now we'll keep it. Yeah, the recording, I did a whole recording for it, but I don't know what happened to it. I've basically got like 5 minutes of footage for it, and it's basically just me planting trees. Yeah, I didn't really see the point in including it, so I just thought I'd show it off, and to be honest, it might not even survive anyway. I might eventually get rid of it and redo it, because I'm not too sure I like it, but yeah, it is what it is. So let's get into today's episode. And for today, I want to finish our waterfront here. It's not going to be a huge project, but I think I would just want to get it finished anyway. We'll start down here in our business park here. We've got a few empty segments. Now we deleted our warehouses, and the bit in the the more waterfront bits, I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do with them, but I think I'm just going to continue the pattern we've got on going down here. So I'm just going to have a couple of separated out offices, like we do on the opposite side, and in these middle bits we're going to continue our pattern that we've got for the rest of the office park, and that is have paths all the way through each section. Sort of breaks up it was a wee bit too dense when I way back when I first zoned this area, so I decided to break up into wee sections, and I think it turned out quite well. I mean, it means the buildings aren't as tall, which is a positive as well. I didn't really like when they went to 7, 8, 10 stories, so it limits the height and it breaks it down to smaller chunks and smaller segments, and it just feels less claustrophobic. So we're just doing that again here with some more paths. So now with the paths are in, we're just going to zone it all basically office, and if ever in the future we need something else, we can always change one of these sections, but yeah, for now just more office. And at the back of this quadrant here, I just want to put a couple of trees in, like we do on the other side of this business park. I'm trying to mix up as well, between our oak, our chestnuts, and I usually like to try and stick in some what they call it again, conifers. Try and stick some conifers in as well. That's like the main 3 trees of throughout the city. There's obviously other trees at other places, but that's the main theme. The conifers, the oaks, and the chestnuts. And I think that's it's kind of balances out. We've got one on each side like that. So now these quadrants again are exactly the same. We're just breaking it into smaller chunks, and these chunks aren't quite symmetrical, like the other side, the other chunks, but it doesn't really matter. It's again, it's more just breaking it down into smaller areas and smaller buildings, and I think it suits it better that way than it did when it was just fully zoned. I think sometimes we all when we're playing this game just want, we all thrive for that maximum density, but sometimes you need a wee bit of separation in your buildings, and given that this is a more kind of more, you know, of a suburb area. I didn't really want to have full maximum density and, you know, quite tall buildings, so I think that's worked out quite well. And that's when, obviously when we simulate, that'll fill that in, and that'll be our business park, you know, sort of complete. So to the last bit of our waterfront here, it's not actually that long, it's just like a thin strip. But we're just going to create a separate zone because we are going to be using, you know, the self-sufficient housing / self-sufficient. We're going to have a wee sort of local produce area as well, and not too many. There's only maybe 3 or 4 shops, but I just thought it would be, since we're doing self-sufficient housing, we may as well do like self-sufficient shops as well, just a couple of them, you know, to break up, you know, the regular shops can be a bit repetitive, you know, so I just thought I'd throw a few of them in. So as I said, just self-sufficient shopping, and down here we're going to just move that out of the way slightly. I know that's not the height of realism, but I'd rather be at this corner than the other corner for now. And we're just going to start putting in our paths. As I say, we're going to sort of have paths connected to this quay wall all the way up the shoreline here, so that it's really walkable. And I think once it's in place, you know, you see a lot of usage out of it, which is really good. But that's basically going to be the start of our residential, that path there. So that all this is basically going to be self-sufficient shops or local produce shops. And we're just going to bring this path along. Well, it's won't let me do it at the angle I want. That's annoying. Yeah, for some reason the node's out of place. It's not letting me do the right node for it to be a straight path. We're going to have to do some tinkering here. So basically we're going to have sections of, you know, 6 cells. That way that the you know, the high-rise building will be in the centre, and we've got a wee bit of grass at the side. We can do some landscaping. So it's still not letting me connect it to the node I want. So I'm just going to put in another one here and see. We're just going to put in another connection here and see if we can put it in, you know, the right node we want. That looks like the right node. Right, okay. So that's the kind of the back area, and it's letting us make that connection now. That was a bit strange there. I don't know what's going on with these nodes sometimes. But yeah, we basically will bring that path all the way along, and that's going to be like the back end of our, you know, residential. So we're just going to repeat this pattern all the way down this coast. Areas of 6 sales gaps, all the way down. And it's kind of the same idea as we're... It's the same idea as our sort of office business park. We just kind of want to separate the buildings out, and given that we don't have that much high-rise buildings, I thought it'd be good to sort of give a wee bit of separation to these and make them look, you know, as if they're a wee bit special. And given that they're more a modern build, you know, it's signalling that a bit of thoughts went into this build, rather than just, you know, with the olden days they just threw up, you know, the old European style districts, and that's quite a condensed area, whereas this is more thought out and planned out, you know. That's what we're going for anyway. I mean, we can see what it looks like once it's done. As I said, we're just bringing lots of connections onto the quay wall here, so we should see lots of people walking and cycling on it. So obviously as we get further down, the quay wall obviously goes off in a different direction, so we've got bigger segments here we can do things with. So before I finish the sort of pass and the quay wall, I just want to put a few assets in. And I did say at the time when I was building this sort of rural area, or suburban area, that I wanted a child health centre in it as well, and I forgot to actually put it in when we're building it, so we're just going to put it at the edge here. And again, we've got quite a big area here on the sort of quay wall, and I was going to make a mini park, but I think I'm just going to do this and just have another tennis court and a basketball court, and, you know, we're just going to sort of make paths around those assets. I didn't want to get overly creative here with a big park, because in the inside area that we're of there to the north of our quay wall here, what we're build here, there's going to be a massive city park I think I'm going to build in there, so I don't really want to have like a wee park here and a massive city park right across the road. So here I'm just putting in a few paths, again another connection, and one last connection here as well. And I think that that's kind of laying the groundworks of our residential area here. So as I said, we're going to have a 4x4 high-rise residential in the middle of all these blocks. And what we're going to do is we're going to play a bit of whack-a-mole here, and I want a certain type of asset here, so it might take 5-10 minutes for me to play whack-a-mole. So while I do that, I'm probably just going to put into a time lapse. Hopefully it won't take us that long. I mean, for you it won't be that long because it'll be a time lapse, and I'll show you the kind of buildings I'm wanting. I'm basically wanting the curved ones, and I want it to have, you know, look as if they're semicircle. So I kind of know which asset, what they look like when they're zoning, so I can delete them quite quickly here. But yeah, I'm just going to skip ahead now until we get to the assets we want. Okay, finally that's all the assets in place. As I said, I want the sort of quarter circle ones and make it look as if they're sort of all built from the same sort of theme. And I think it looks quite nice, and now we're just going to start putting in our fences, the sort of corner sort of fences buildings off. So yeah, we're just fencing them off to make it look as if these are the lots that each of these buildings have. And you know, as I said, the game, the cities become alive when you put the details in. I think fencing them off makes sense, given that there's going to be a lot of foot traffic on the quay wall, and you don't want people just wandering up to the back of your buildings. And obviously we're going to do some landscaping later once these fences are in as well, so we're just fencing it off, and then we can do some landscaping. So fences in, they're starting to look quite neat. I just think those buildings are really nice, and they're not too tall, you know, they fit the area, and I quite like them. So these green trees, they're the trees that are naturally built into the asset, so we're just going to use them as well to do our landscaping. So I'm just going to use green trees all the way down. I mean, I thought about mixing it up, to be honest, but there's still areas behind these buildings which we are going to do some more landscaping in, so I just thought I would keep it simple and have all the buildings, you know, the same. As I say, sometimes that's a bad thing, having, you know, just a repetitive sort of theme, but we've only got what, 8 or 10 buildings, and I thought as a single development, I thought that's quite logical to have, you know, similar style buildings right next to each other. At least in the UK it is. I've seen it, you know, occurring, you know, when you've got similar, you know, when you've got development and they've got, you know, X amount of buildings, you know, that they're quite generic looking once they're all beside each other. But as I say, in small doses, I think that's okay, you know. It's just when you do it block after block after block, you know, it becomes a bit tedious, you know. But anyway, yeah, back to this city. And that's us. So I quite like the looks of that already. I mean, it's don't like some of these shops, mind you, but we're just going to decorate a bit at the back. That's that green tree again, and to be honest, I don't know. Yeah, I don't like them. I like them in the back of the you know, the residential, but I think we're just going to go with chestnut at the back here. This is really, that's really just an, you know, a blocker slash noise blocker from the shop, so we don't really want anybody, again, going into the sort of back or areas. So here, as I said before, we're just going to do some landscape, and I'm going to mix it up between, you know, we're oaks again, we're chestnuts, and, you know, we're conifers. And given there's a few green trees in the area, I might use some of them as well. But I kind of want to, as I say, space them out a wee bit and make it look as if the trees are random and they're not just all oak trees. So oak trees in, let's start putting some chestnuts in. At first I kind of wanted to limit the amount of trees I put on the quay wall, but I think I've changed my mind, and I don't think it's as long, I don't think in certain areas it's not that dense. I don't mind behind the shops if it's dense, because, you know, you don't really care if anybody in the shops get a view or not, you know, it's more for the residential. I kind of want to space them out a wee bit more. But you know, obviously if they're tall buildings, it's you know, they can see over the top of the trees anyway, so. And as I said, we're just putting some conifers in as well. I'm trying to mix up, you know, the trees that are in this area. And I think they're starting to come together really nicely. Yeah, I think the only problem now is that, you know, that you've got these big wind turbines there, and I don't think I like them anymore in that place. I think I might take them out. But before we do that, or if we do that, we've obviously got some more landscaping here. These are a wee bit too spread out. As I say, I don't want to block the full view, but I do want a wee bit more trees here. And we have these big grassy sections here. I'm just going to fill these in with trees. I'm not going to do anything too fancy down here. As I said, there's going to be a big park on our doorstep anyway, and we can just have this as a dog walking area, if you will. So again, just mixing up between more 3 types of trees. So I'm just going to put a couple of green trees in here as well, next to our child health centre there, just to kind of complete the theme. I've never really used them before, but I might use them a bit more often in this build, because I do like the look of them. And I'm kind of laughing to myself here. I'm just thinking, if I had kept what footage I had of my intersection build, and then this build, especially about 90% is just planting trees. Maybe I'll just call this tree simulator, but I like the look of that. I like the look of that. You know, it's still a bit bare because we've got this big open grass area that's not been turned into a park yet, but I like the look of those places, the residential anyway. I'm going to get rid of some of these assets, but I don't quite like the assets. And I'm just going to sim it here while we get those rezoned. Mom, I really like the way that looks, but I'm going to take these out here. It means I'm going to have to put one of these lazy temporary lines, I think, across the water here, but I don't think these new built flats, you kind of want to be staring at big, wind turbines, so I'm going to take them out. And, I think in terms of electricity, we'll be okay for the time being, but we're probably going to have to look at that soon and get, another proper energy section built. I think we unlock the nuclear power plant once we get to 42,000, so I don't know, we might look into building, some sort of area with that, but yeah, I just wanted to take them out there. As I say, it's not really good for the view for these new built flats, but I really like the way that's turned out and it looks. So it's a bit of a shorter episode, I'm afraid. As I say, I lost a lot of footage when I was building my intersection. Otherwise this probably would have been another half an hour long or something, but maybe it's a good thing, because it was a lot of tree planting, and it was, to be honest, it's one of my things I least like to build, and that's intersections. Or highway intersections, should I say. So, and as I said, I'm not quite happy with it anyway, so it might not even stay. But yeah, just a wish mini episode since my recording got messed up. I hope you like this episode, even if it is a shorter one. You know, please like and subscribe if you did, and if you want to see where the city grows from here. And you know, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.